You've probably heard of certain movies having been said they're ahead of their time, and so they don't do well because people just aren't ready for that kind of movie. But then later on, people start watching it and realizing how amazing it is because then they're ready. Well, there are also movies that are behind their time, and there really is no chance to ever think they're a good movie because you can't go back in time and release them during the time when they might have been popular. This is the movie 1000 Words with Eddie Murphy. It feels very much like one of those 90s formula comedies where the guy has to learn a lesson and so a supernatural force teaches it to him. Jim Carrey was, I mean, these were his movies. Liar, Liar, Bruce Almighty. I even think Yes Man, which stretches the limits of the Jim Carrey timeline, but Yes Man is a very similar plot as well, and I would argue one of the reasons it's not seen as a great movie is because it too was a little bit behind its time, but this one is a lot behind its time, and it just feels, like you can just sense the formula. It just oozes off of the screen. It doesn't feel like a real situation. It feels like a movie formula because you've seen it so many times before, and B, Eddie Murphy doesn't pull it off. He has a hard time, he feels, to almost strain under the weight of making this premise work, and there's supposed to be a lot of physical comedy, and the humor comes from those places where, oh no, he has no more words to say, but he has to use words here. That's the premise of the movie, is that there's a tree with 1,000 leaves, and each leaf represents a word that Eddie Murphy has left to say in his life, and how he, as a fast-talking human being, can learn that lesson of you don't need a lot of words, you need actions, and that's the moral of the story. Great moral, it just feels so forced in formula, and at the end of the day makes for a pretty lousy movie-going experience because it's hard to get into. Now, the performances around him, actually not that bad. And okay, to be honest, Eddie Murphy is not that bad in this movie. He's a talented guy. It's just he's been asked to carry a lot of weight here, and he's just not quite up to the task. He does the fast-talking thing well, but man, the slow-talking thing or the no-talking thing, the physical comedy thing, I just don't think he has as much of a grasp of that. 1000 Words is a fine movie, maybe for some day when it's on TV in its edited form, and you can, fast forward through the commercials and watch it. But even then, I'm not sure it's worth your time. It's certainly not worth your money. Don't spend any money on this one, and maybe not even any time.